Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a very special edition of the CredeCast. I am the host, I am the supremacy, and I am the UWE World Heavyweight Champion. Excuse me for that real quick. The live stream has a 7-second delay, but nonetheless, this is your World Heavyweight Champion, Ever Creed here. And my guest tonight is not only going to be one of the two men that takes on TJ Sakara at Ultimate Redemption, but also is going to be facing yours truly, Nevon McDonald and Templar tomorrow night on UWE LockDown in a fatal four-way elimination match, non-title of course. Someone I know very well. He has not only been a very, very illuminating ally, but also one of my finest adversaries, none other than the man that calls himself God, the brother man with the master plan, the four-time CJE World Heavyweight Champion, Cameron Jackson. Cam, before begin, I just want to say thank you for joining me here on the CredeCast here tonight. Obviously, this started with a heated discussion, as usual, because a lot of people think we have the two biggest egos in backyard wrestling, but to be quite honest, when it comes to Cameron Jackson and Ever Creed, when you have facts of accomplishments, it's very hard not to have one. So, Cam, I'm really going to start before all it, because I'm sure everybody else is still tuning in. So we're just going to start with the common trend. Ultimate Redemption. It looked like you were going to go in a completely different route, in a completely different direction for what has really transpired. It was Rick Rios' road to redemption, and all I got to ask is, why would you be putting your name on the sidelines for the benefit of Rick Rios?
Because when you have Cameron Jackson on the show, it is no longer a UWE event. It is a CJ event. And when Cameron Jackson's in the show, no matter whether it's first, second, third, or last, or how many matches you have, it becomes the Cameron Jackson finale. People tune in to see Cameron Jackson. People tune out when Cameron Jackson's done. So I figured, no disrespect to UWE and its fine talent, let's make something special. Let's make Ultimate Redemption Rick Rios' show rather than Cameron Jackson's show. Let's put one of the biggest egos aside, and let's get somebody who's never had the chance or the right to call themselves the man, be the man. Let's give Rick Rios some spotlight, but then TJ Sakara comes out there like the half-wit jackass he is and ruins the whole plot and scheme, which is what people are supposed to do nowadays. Good job, TJ. The first time you've ruined a plot and scheme in your life, yeah, great. It's just, let's not go there. But the thing is, sometimes you got to show tough love. UW is a family, but unfortunately, TJ might be on his way out.
Well, you know, it really looked like it was going to be Rick Rios' road to redemption, and it really looked like, for some reason, you had this plan to add Rick Rios into my World's Heavyweight Championship match with Templar, and I could assure you that in the past 12 months since the last time I fought Rick Rios at Ultimate Redemption, I am a changed man, and I have dealt with all obstacles, and I have overcame every single one of them, and have won the most prestigious prize that backyard wrestling has to offer. And that is not the VTW Championship. That is not the now retired APW Championship. It is the UWE World's Heavyweight title. And you would know, because you have held that championship for 4 times. So now, speaking of 4 times, that brings me to 4x4. What really is the background? Because, you know, it's probably, in my opinion, there's been a lot of trends this year in backyard wrestling. Of course, you know, in the past couple of years, we've had so many trends. We've had Anonymous. We've had Team Big Time. We've had the Man in Red. And now, 16 is worldwide throughout backyard wrestling. What is the genesis of 16?
You're looking at it. That's all that matters. Anybody and their mama can go on any show and say 16. It doesn't mean a damn thing. When Cameron Jackson does it, people around the world, hold up four fingers, look at the screen, and I don't give a damn if their mother's looking, if their pet dog's laying in the bed next to them. I don't care what happens. The second I say it, it becomes on fire like that. And you've seen it in front of a live crowd yourself.
I have. And the matter of the fact is, 16 is a trend. And right now, it is the trend. But I can assure you that after tomorrow night, and more importantly, after Ultimate Redemption, things are going to be a lot different. I can assure you.
That's completely that is completely up to an athlete of your caliber to make something of their own. But the thing here is, let's be real for a second, and let's just put it on paper. Not even on paper. Let's put it on. Let's air some just facts here, and it has nothing to do with anything behind anybody's scenes or nothing like that, because this is not what this show is about. Even though that's what people want it to be about, that's what it's not going to be about. It's going to be straightforward Cameron Jackson sitting down with Ever Creed, or vice versa. The thing here is, no matter what, ever since I threw up four fingers and a Dairy Queen and said 16, everybody has been doing it. So no matter what, no matter if Ecstatic wins the ECW championship, oh, great, good job. No matter if Jason Walker decides to take his ball and go inside his house and never come outside again, oh, great, that's great. No matter what, no matter if Nevon McDonald decides to step out of that little shell that they lived in up there in BEW and actually step to a Fed with some subscribers and some actual screenplay and get over just a tad bit, well, great. No matter what, it doesn't matter. Just as sure as Cameron Jackson has held that title 4 times, just as sure as Ever Creed is sitting on that damn bed right now talking to me, just as sure as that there's anybody going to watch this tomorrow morning saying, how are these two not ripping each other's heads off right now? It's just as sure as the fact that Cameron Jackson will throw up four fingers even after the biggest match of anybody else's life, and there will be a worldwide people saying 16 with them. Trend gone, trend back, and that's because of this guy right here.
Now, I got some comments here in the comment section, and this should be very fun. This is from of course, one of your brethrens in the FTC. Drew Hood puts hashtag CJE, but we go from support to slaughter because Drake, no sick days, Newton puts quite a bit. Cameron Jackson, the man who lost his ego and his man card after he went to Black and White. TJ is a real man. Cam, 16 my ass, Cameron. You will never get 16 championship reigns because you don't deserve it, because you need help to win, and that's not a true champion. It's a paper champion. Your thoughts?
Well, you know, and I really don't like to argue with the smarks, okay? But you know what, Drake, I'm feeling pretty cool. And, you know, just for you, I'll crack open one of these bad boys, because you, your mother, and whoever else I decide to bring up in these next 5 minutes is really fucked. Now, Drake, no sick days. You tell me exactly. Let's go from your first comment. Okay, Cameron Jackson, the man who lost his ego. Stop right there. Cameron Jackson hasn't lost his ego. If Cameron Jackson lost his ego, he wouldn't be on this podcast right now. That's one. Enough said. His man card. You're right. I can plead guilty. I gave in my birthright of being a man to be a god. Now move on forward. Let's go to the next comment here. When he went to Black and White, really? Come on. That's the reason why you watch the UWE, jackass. TJ is a real man, Cam. Okay, if TJ is such a real man, how come TJ Sakara goes? I live 2 hours away and I make it on time the day before. TJ Sakara is late damn near all the time. Are you kidding me? If TJ Sakara is a real man would thank a friend, would thank Revan for coming in and trying to save his ass. A real man has no problem saying thank you. You did the right thing. But no, guess what he did? Guess what he said in the comments after that happened? I wish I screenshotted. Revan, just leave it to me next time. Oh, remember that? Okay. Let's talk about TJ. Okay, now That's not a 16. My ass, Cameron. You'll never get 16 championship reigns. Did I say I was going for 16 championship reigns? Wow, that's almost as impossible as your mom fitting 16. You know what's inside of her, but we're not going to go there because, quite frankly, if she can do it, I can do it. Because you don't deserve it, and because you need help to win. Listen, work smarter, not harder. That's something you learn in life. That's a true champ. It's not a true champion. It's a paper champion. Oh my God! For everybody ever that has given this insult, let me tell you something. It's a record. Okay, there's a such thing to where when the Bulls won championships all throughout the 90s, when the Raiders won Super Bowls or whatever the fuck they won, when the Steelers won Super Bowls, that's a real team. It all goes on paper. Okay, so technically, every champion ever is a paper champion because it goes on record. All right, if you want to get real literal to a T. So I am a 4-time paper champion, and God bless it. Everett Creed is a 1-time paper champion, and I'm pretty sure that piece of paper is the same one him and I both are rubbing your face because you haven't done it yet, bitch. And okay, we're gonna move on. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Now, Cam, I gotta admit, I'm actually quite flattered. I expected you on here, and I expected this tirade of calling me out for the things that I've called myself over the past couple of weeks. And to be quite honest, to me, this is the way I see it. And this is really the way it's turning out to be, especially when it comes to Ultimate Redemption, because I was watching on UWE Lockdown after I took Templar Sheath, a.k.a. what you people know as his mask. I watched as you demanded Rick Rios to be in the heavyweight championship picture, and then TJ Sakara comes out and interrupts because TJ always likes to make it about himself, but he's nothing more than a passive-aggressive coward. So when you confront him face-to-face, he says he doesn't even want the championship. Now, with that mentality, I could say that, to be quite honest, Las Vegas might want to be interested in Ultimate Redemption because I think a lot of them should be placing their money on Black and White, and I'm going to place mine as well, and here's the reason why. TJ Sakara doesn't have the hunger, and he doesn't have the drive. He never had it. You know why? Because he hasn't been the same since he lost to you last year at Ultimate Redemption. I mean, let's be quite honest.
Yeah, and just to add on to that, who gets the worst screw job in UWE history? I don't know, almost second to the one Daisy got, but whatever the case. Who gets a screw job in UWE history and then gives a heartfelt speech afterwards about how we're going to – if that were me, I know I would have flipped that whole damn arena upside down. I wouldn't have been clapping and saying thank you to the fan. Are you kidding me? Where are your balls? Are you kidding me?
And I'll get back to Daisy in a minute, but Sakara, made that heartfelt speech, and then he left. At the time, being my company, he left for months and months and has not returned any of my notifications because he was nothing more than a coward. And I proved to be the backbone of a 10-year-long friendship, and I'm very ashamed to call it a friendship because he's not worthy of being a friend. But now, going back to All Out Survival, you mentioned the screw job, and this is really what almost was the source of why I decided to invite you here. Look, I was not aware that not only was I not aware of the fact that Daisy's hand reached the bar, but I was not aware of the fact that the referee's vision was obstructed. I believed, because I had my back turned, because I had him locked in the Genesis device, I believe that he passed out, just like anybody else would in that maneuver. I used that very Genesis device to become the UWE World's Heavyweight Champion. And the matter of the fact is that I am sick and tired of everybody throwing the blame on me because maybe in the past I might have had a little bit of stroke in the business. The thing is that I sold that very ownership of the UWE over to Angelique Stark. And here's why. Because I am no longer caring about what's best for the UWE. I am the UWE. And since UWE really is the only source of backyard wrestling entertainment, I am backyard wrestling now. So, and I'll prove it when I defeat Templar at Ultimate Redemption in the main event. And I'll also prove it tomorrow night on UWE LockDown. Now, I want to go back and turn a little bit back to the genesis of Black and White, because really I was the first person to confront it in the first place. What exactly, I'm not even going to ask what exactly is Black and White, but more so, how does Black and White differ from the Follow That crew? Are they conjoined? Are they together? Are they apart? Are they two separate mutual agreements? Because there is a lot of messages being spread out.
That is for people to interpret on their own. I'll tell you my interpretation of it, me being a member of both Black and White and the FTC. FTC is the biggest reign of terror in backyard wrestling. Sorry, for backyard wrestling, because I don't even see us as backyard wrestlers anymore. We're FTC superstars. But Black and White is the biggest reign of terror for the UWE. Really, that's not even too much of a difference, because the UWE is the biggest pond of talent and success in backyard wrestling, I feel. But the thing here is, when you take the combination of REF, Cameron Jackson, and Rick Rios, and you take the combination of Big Time Mike, Cameron Jackson, and Drew Hood, two separate things, two separate names, two separate beings of themselves, two separate entities. But the goal is the same. The goal is to do what you got to do to survive. A great man once said, life is about a lot of over and unders. It sucks to be under, but I'll be damned if I don't go over. And you can quote that man. He is a 16-time world heavyweight champion.
Well, there's no surprise that we all have, I mean, me and you, practically the top two, we all have our influences and the people that we've looked up to bring about our success, whether they are the 16-time champion or the first ever undisputed champion. But the matter of the fact is that it's learning through the greats. And I think that's something that a lot of the backyard wrestlers, and I really put a lot of emphasis on wrestlers, do not do enough, is study up on the people that paved the road. You know, they'll look at the common trend, the 2016 trend, and not realize what really was responsible for that trend to even exist in the first place. You know, I look at Carl Anderson on Monday Night Raw, and I see him do a spine buster, and I'm thinking to myself, oh, Carl, everybody's saying Carl Anderson has the best spine buster in the business. Well, guess what, pal? That wouldn't have existed if it wasn't for Triple H, and that wouldn't have existed for Triple H if it wasn't for Double A. So, that is something that we can agree upon, is the fact that we are aware of our roots. And I think that's where
there's not enough, and this goes for backyard wrestlers as well. There's not enough appreciation, and this goes into my topic of being pissed off for the last week. There's not enough appreciation for those that go out there, and pros included, for those that go out there, have gone out there, and still go out there on a weekly basis, for pros 5 nights a week, and tell a story and put something across and make the person across from them mean something. And usually, if you're in backyard wrestling, I'm usually that guy that's making the guy across from me mean something. And the guy is not returning that favor to me at all. And it really pisses me off when that guy that I make mean something goes on and becomes a big name. And for one person in particular, adds me to a list of names that he's beaten in crossover fucking history, but will not give me the credit I deserve as for being one of the only reasons his company even survived the last fucking 7 months. But that's one. Listen, and this is not even about him. I really don't even want to bring him up anymore. It's the fact that backyard wrestlers in general, whether it be in the UWE, in VTW, in any other place, will not step across from that squared circle, whichever you want to call it, and they won't make the guy across from them, whether it be Cameron Jackson, whether it be Everett Creed, whether it be big time like Drew Hood, hell, whether it be Dustin Plague. They won't make the guy across from him as that guy is doing for them. They will not return the favor, and that's why there's a lot of bad. That's why it's a lot of good matches. There's not a lot of good stories. There's not a lot of great programs. There's only a bunch of good matches. And once people actually Cameron Jackson and do what Cameron Jackson is doing for them, we'll all benefit. And all companies with that logic, if you step across from an Everett Creed and do what he's doing for you, I can honestly say, and to be quite honest, and I don't care, that I think there's nobody that can argue me, that I have gone from the most loved person in this community to the most hated person in this community, all just from making my opponents be booed or be cheered. That has nothing to do with what I was saying to them. Yes, it helped. Yes, me shutting people up helped a lot. But at the same time, if I wasn't making TJ Sakara at Ultimate Redemption look like $1 million and having REF come in here and making TJ look like the guy that got robbed from all of his glory, there would be no reason to cheer TJ Sakara. There would be no reason to boo Cameron Jackson. I did that. What did TJ do for me? Oh, didn't show up. Really? Okay, let's go a step further. Let's take this one. Going away, retiring from the UWE. I made Fat Jack a viable heavyweight champion in one day. And how long was that match? I'm gonna say that match was almost 30 minutes. And 30 minutes I did for Fat Jack, but nobody could for years. Made him a viable contender, made him a viable champion in one match, one instance, one story, one program, one day. I did that for Fat Jack. And what does he do? What does he do? After he has to lose the belt back to me? Oh, you take a black toe splash, the most known move in backyard wrestling, you get right the fuck back up? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? That doesn't make the black toe splash look strong. Not as strong as I made his fucking finish look. I don't know. We got to start returning favors, backyard wrestling, because to be quite honest, if we don't return favors, favors are going to run out.
Look, I've been on.
And it's safe to say, and I can never ever, and I've always said it, and I can never discredit you. And I will always go to it, and everybody knows the deal here. No matter whether you're wearing your regular face paint or a mask, every time you've taken a black toe splash, you've actually sold it as if it was a finish. That I can thank you for. There's tons of other people that roll right the fuck over and get up and walk away right before the camera cuts as if I just fucking slapped them once and they fell down. Like, are you kidding me?
Look, and I'm gonna be real here. I've been on the receiving end of the BTS, and it is not fun. I've taken it at All Out Survival, and I've taken it at Thunderstruck, and that is not a move that. And could I have gotten up? It's a big question of yes and no, because I could have gotten up, but guess what? I would have taken another one, and I would have had a broken rib. So you know what? I always believe that it's. I'd rather live to fight another day. And the thing is that the black toed splash is not only one of, if not the most iconic maneuver in backyard wrestling. I'm telling you right now, it's not just because you have it imprinted on a shirt. It's because there's been a lot of variations of that maneuver, but none to an accessible point with damage and showmanship as the black toed splash. And I will give you that. And I can understand where you're coming from, because I feel the same way as far as the nightshade goes. You've eaten a nightshade, and you've stayed down for the count of 3, and I greatly appreciate that. But a lot of people don't understand the effectiveness of a finishing maneuver. And I really witnessed it at Best in the Yard too, because I was watching on as a lot of matches were progressing, and all of a sudden I'm realizing that finishing maneuvers aren't putting opponents away anymore, but instead it's some triple flip or some sort of variated pile driver or brain buster or anything quite like that, and it kind of kills the whole momentum of a story being told. Now, as far as certain names that you've mentioned, let's be honest, the one that I'm quite glad to say that I have officially erased from backyard wrestling history, being a certain someone that has not stayed down from a black toad splash, but has stayed down from a nightshade, and I can assure you that he will never be getting up anytime soon. I've seen the travesty at WrestleCon, and to be honest, I feel like that entity is nothing more than a cancer, but
it's a piece of shit.
Yeah, well, I guess I cured the cancer.
I hate to cut you off, but now I got to address something in the comments here. Black and white I hate black and white with a passion because you guys are a bunch of pussies who need the help to win the match, and attack your opponent after match isn't nothing but you being scared because you know you can't win on your own. Thank you. One smart that actually gets to the point. I've turned you from a smart to a fan. You're welcome.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that they think they understand a lot of the situations.
And then he goes, well, the Chico, I don't and never will like him. He is a cheater and can't win without help.
Well, no matter what.
That's what we want here. That's the whole point here. Guess what? You don't and will never like Cam, but you're watching a CredeCast with Cameron Jackson on it. That means Cameron Jackson is still your main draw for the evening. Now go fuck yourself.
Well, the main draw is really a big factor, especially what, as far as tonight goes, because really I was, obviously celebrating backstage, and then on the uploaded content, I noticed something that was quite different, and now because of it, we now have this. So, obviously non-title, however, a fatal four-way elimination match between, quite honestly, you can say the four administrators of backyard wrestling, obviously yours truly, the champion, the CJE, BEW, and a lot of people like to consider a locker room leader and a fan favorite going into Ultimate Redemption and Templar. Cam, what are your thoughts about Nevon McDonald's challenge?
I appreciate it. Only reason why I'm doing it is because I have to. To be quite honest, Nevon McDonald, and you know what? Let me tell this little story before facts get misconstrued again. Nevon McDonald, actually, Jordan Oliver hit me up a little around December. He hit me up and he asked me if I wanted to come to his pro wrestling debut, and I said sure. And he got me a ticket, and I went. And I met Nevon McDonald, one of the most kind-hearted gentlemen, one of the funniest souls you'll ever meet. And for him, allowed me on his programming, gave CJE a spot in BEW, which I'm grateful for. No matter where I perform, I'm grateful for that. The people who host the company to give CJE a spot, completely. But fast forward some few months later, and you're saying I'm a disgrace to the Negro race. Listen, I am in a world we live in. I am in a world that we live in. Unfortunately, I oversee it. And the fact that you would call God a Negro damns you straight to hell, Nevon McDonald. I'm not Negro. I'm not Caucasian. I'm not African American. I'm CJE. That's all that matters.
Nevon honestly has a lot of audacity, calling out the CJE, calling out Templar, and most importantly, calling out his world heavyweight champion. And Nevon McDonald already has enough on his plate mentally. If I were him, I would just sit back and enjoy the ride as his other half finally be rid of a freak show in the UWE. And the thing is that as far as, and we'll go through the redemption card as we always do, but, honestly, watching the pump into AOS, that, you know, that thing has been a thorn in my side. So I hopefully will no longer have to deal with that come Ultimate Redemption, and hopefully Novin puts him down. But as far as his other ego, the King of the Mountain, goes, he has a lot of audacity, not calling out 1, 2, but 3 of the UWE's most prestigious. And the reason why, and this is just real talk, is because BEW is in lack of efforts. BEW is in lack of promotion, and BEW would not be relevant right now if it wasn't for the underground, if it wasn't for the alliance he made with Cameron Jackson and the alliance he made with yours truly. People would not have known about Nevon McDonald if it wasn't for us, you and me, agreeing to bring him down for Best in the Yard to take on Kevin Shaw. So Nevon McDonald is going to have to come to face with a real cold, hard dose of reality. And the reality is that when it comes to the underground, Nevon McDonald is no longer a king. He's just a peasant. So, Nevon, I look forward to seeing you for the first time, and for your own good, it should be the last. Now, let's talk Ultimate Redemption, because Cam, I mean, and this is more us here. You know, it seems every year we go through Ultimate Redemption, and it looks like it just can't get any better. The card just seems to grow each and every time. What are your thoughts about this year's Ultimate Redemption and how it's different from the others?
This is the 1 year CJE instead of Daisy was booked as a last resort, so I don't know how this is going to go. But I will say, hopefully, and that's for everybody else involved's sake, they step up and make magic with the situations they're handed. From what I hear, there's an invitation for the regional championship. That's a good opportunity, I think. I don't know. The reason why I say I think is because the Black Bullet has a point. There's this new breed, and this dominant breed. People seem to forget, and I blame this on UWE, not necessarily ever Creed, but I blame it on UWE for not acknowledging the fact that the Black Bullet in the beginning stages of the UWE on this YouTube was a world heavyweight championship contender, and helped was very, very a big spoke in the wheel to bringing in some of these viewers and into hooking people that caught us for the first time, like a Cage, like a Drew Hood, like a Big Time Mike. So Black Bullet has a point. You know, if there's anybody that should be just as pissed off as I am, it's the Black Bullet. And the reason why is because from day one, he's been here. He has been here from day one. And from day one, he's been given things to, hey, I need this guy over. And I'm not saying that's what the word said, but let's be real. You read between the lines. That's what it comes out. We got to get this guy over. Got to get that guy over. Got to get that guy over. And who's always that guy to put him over? The Black Bullet. Okay, fine. The Black Bullet finally gets the regional championship. The rest of the world again sleeps on the Black Bullet. Are we serious? The Black Bullet finally brings some fire out of this new breed, this lazy ass new breed. Finally brings some fire out of them and says, you know what? I'm going to give them a chance. And he shows just with the words that he uses that he's still a member of the original dominant breed that built the UWE. He is a piece, and he is one of those embodiments of everything the underground wrestling entertainment represents: the heart, the mind, the charisma, the soul, and most importantly, the star value. And Black Bullet can do all of those things no matter what he wrestles in, no matter what he wrestles like, no matter what his voice sounds like. He knows how to hook a crowd. At WrestleCon, Black Bullet he was given the last resort. And what did he do? Interaction of the whole goddamn show, with the exception of Dirty the Chico going through a Lego table. The proof's in the pudding. Black Bullet is somebody you don't sleep on. I don't care who's in this invitational. They better show up.
You know, right now it's the Black Bullet with the new breed. and a lot of people have their eyes on the new breed. And to be quite honest, I think that's quite comedic because I see them as more so the geek squad. You got Revan, who like the thing about Revan is that he is a decent athlete, and I will give him that. You've beaten him at Broken Glory. I beat him at Friday Night Lights, but it wasn't his athleticism that lacked. It was the fact of his
I'll tell you what.
delusion to what he thinks he is. And
I tell you what, Revan, the best piece of work Revan did was trying to go against me to take that thing on your shoulder at Thunderstruck. Was it Thunderstruck last year?
I think it was Broken Glory. Yeah, because we fought at Thunderstruck, and then you got him at Broken Glory.
All right, well, at Broken Glory. And that was his best piece of business he ever brought. He was fighting with a purpose. Revan, he needs to find that purpose again. That one time he had a purpose. He had the chance of a lifetime to come back and claim his spot in the UWE. And that he did. He did claim his spot in the UWE. He just didn't claim his place as a UWE World Heavyweight Champion. And unfortunately for him, he was not invited to the after party at the Marriott that evening. But fortunate for me, I did what I do best, made everybody in the situation better. That's one of those programs that you cannot go bad on. And that is why I am one of the last supporters of Revan on this planet, because just like I was talking about before, Revan sold me, and this goes off the record, I guess, if you want. Revan sold me like a world heavyweight champion. Not too many people have done that in my title defenses. Revan sold me like somebody that main evented Best in the Yard twice. Revan sold me like a 4-time world heavyweight champion. At that time, 3-time world heavyweight champion. And what did I do for him? I got the crowd to rally behind him. They wanted to see Cameron Jackson get his teeth kicked out by a Malachor 5. And he almost had it. And had he been around a little bit longer to learn more, had a little bit more experience, he might have gotten it. We'll never know. That's one story.
The only thing now, this is where Revan has, in my opinion, a great advantage out of the new breed. He's the only one of those 3 men that has a clear head on his shoulders. And despite his delusion, and I think I really knocked the delusion out of him at Friday Night Lights, finished the job that you ultimately started at Broken Glory. And I think that might have been the best thing for Revan, because now he realizes he's not a great Jedi. He realizes he's a UWE superstar. And this is his chance to do something to elevate his career by defeating the new breed, defeating the Black Bullet, and becoming the regional champion. Atlas and Ustalo, I feel it's a different story. I feel like they're a little bit more frantic. I think they're more on the fringe. Ustalo is... And Ustalo has charisma. There's no denying the fact that Ustalo is entertainment. From the first time he said, "Hit my music," I knew that he was entertainment.
Here's the thing. You can be entertainment all day long, and it won't mean a damn thing. You can be wrestling all day long, and it won't mean a damn thing. You can be both all day long, and it won't be a damn thing. A hit maker, moment maker, record breaker, superstar. You have to be a world-renowned performer. You have to fight every match like it's your last. You don't have to fight like you're in another man's body, but you have to fight like it's your last time. You have to go out there and you have to prove that just as much as the guy or guys in this scenario standing across from you, you deserve to hold that championship. You have to go out there and you have to one goal in mind, and no matter what, breaking the fourth wall, no matter what the scripted outcome is, you have to play it off, and you have to know, you have to have it in your head that you're going over that match. You have to have it in your head. You have to wrestle as if you're going over. And if you know you're not going over, then you have to work 10 times harder to get the guy over. So the point is, once they learn that, they'll be superstars. Until then, they're the new breed.
Ustalo, likes to throw a lot of blame out on others for his failures. And I think the hothead might come to get the best of him. And then there's Jason Atlas. It seems to me.
Listen, let me tell you something, okay? Jason Atlas for World Heavyweight Champion. I'm sorry. Where's Drake? No 6 days. Newton now where you need him. Oh, okay. Listen, at least Brother Cam has earned the right to be a 4-time heavyweight champion of the world. Jason Walker. I,
No, he's done. His ass is done. Yeah.
now you know. Now you know I'm really pissed off. I'm calling him Walker. Okay. Jason Atlas hasn't earned the right to be a 1-time regional champion. How in the isosceles fuck is he gonna make his way up to be a UWE heavyweight champion of the world? He's not going to. The reason why he's not going to is because he's too busy trying to fight off his personal demons. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you what they are because it's none of your business. The thing is, he is too focused on getting his personal life together, which, yes, a man should be at a time, instead of grinding for that professional goal. And that professional goal for him should be getting to ultimate redemption. When I look at his Facebook, when I look at his Twitter, he's too busy trying to yell at Everett Creed. He's not focused. He cannot be a viable contender to win this match. He shouldn't even be in this match. If anything, he should be front row in the crowd for the main event, because that's obviously where he wants to be. He wants to be telling Everett Creed he sucks. That's where he wants to be. Fine. Put the mark in the seat. Do not put him in the regional title invitational.
Look, the thing with Jason Atlas, and I know that he's been calling me on. I think it's hysterical because it's the fact that I bested him at Dead Man's Hand, and he could have walked out the champion, but he fought with this, and he didn't fight with this, and that's the reason why Jason Atlas failed, and we haven't seen him for 2 or 3 months, and then all of a sudden now he decides to show up because it's Ultimate Redemption season. And it looked like he was going to try to get an opportunity for this championship, but that wasn't going to happen because, he, like you said, he's not ready and he doesn't deserve it. Now, moving on to another contest. This one was actually just made the last week on UWE LockDown. Winnipeg Warrior versus Clunk. It looked like these guys really were fighting as if they were at Ultimate Redemption. Hell, they believed they were at Ultimate Redemption. And then hell broke loose in the most unique form, and it looks like we're going to see the rematch or the match. Well, I guess you have your own opinion to it on the Grand Show. What's your opinion of Winnipeg Warrior and Clunk?
I'll tell you what, he gave me his mask to go get it tailored and stitched up and repaired. So apparently he sees this as a big deal.
Are you serious?
Get out.
Wait, he actually did that?
Yeah, now you're not going to
believe this.
Mick Foley. Mick Foley at WrestleMania 20 did not know that The Rock wanted to be with him, and Mick Foley asked, he goes, The Rock said he wouldn't come back unless it was a big deal. And The Rock said, I see this as a big deal. And apparently I think this is the same kind of thing here, because now I got to mail this fucker out, get it all fixed up and make it all look pretty again, and give it to him whenever he gets back from his vacation in Tahiti. He's helping underprivileged kids in Bermuda. So when Clunk gets back, then it's I guess it's going to be a spectacle.
You're not going to believe this, but and I don't know if this is just irony. I don't know if this is just a big coincidence, but apparently it's a trend. I don't know why he decided for me to. I mean, I'm not even in charge of attires, but ladies and gentlemen, this is what's going to transpire at Ultimate Redemption: Winnipeg Warrior versus Clunk. 2 of the most entertaining, unique, and in my opinion, underprivileged superstars in the underground. Now we go from Winnipeg and Clunk to some darker times, because now you were out there in the Survivalist Coliseum, and I believe it was you, Templar, and Lips, and then Nevon comes out and drops him on his head, and the next thing you know, they're gone. What was going through your mind when you saw that in the Coliseum?
Yeah, but I can tell you exactly what was going through my mind. It's, can they speed this up so I can eliminate Templar? I don't know where they expected me to go with it. I knew neither one of them were out there for me. Listen, I've had a run-in with both Novin and Lips, and my two, and I proudly have spots on both the UWE and BEW roster, and I'll go to the grave with that proudly for both. Um, my thing is, honestly, this is another thing that I buy into. This is another thing that pisses me off. Because Novin and Lips are what they are. They're those two type of characters where you know what they are. Nobody has ever once, ever once gone up them and tried to downplay what they are and degrade what they are. I've never once looked at Novin and said you aren't an inner demon. I've never once looked at Lips and said you aren't a demon. Never once, and never will. And it pisses me off. Not, and it's not their fault. It has nothing to do with those two characters. They're just examples. The thing is, when people look at Brother Cam, they tell me what I am, and I'm not. And this isn't for those smart Mark fans. No. This is for the other backyard wrestlers that feel the need to downplay the gimmick here. Going back to Novin and Lips, I think it's going to be one of those once in a lifetime things. I think I personally think that Novin is the type of character where it's I feel like Novin's the type of character where you got to sit back and let him do his thing a little. You got to let him. You got to let him be an aggressor. And Lips is one of those characters that I think sometimes is played a little too much into its own forte rather than the whole picture of what's going on. But I do think that the contest between the two will not be the biggest thing. It's more so the story that they put out. So I think that's what people need to be invested for.
It looks, like Novin really has, the aggression, and literally looks like he wants to rid Lips of backyard wrestling, and he wants to make the underground his world. And the fact is that if Novin's successful, it's only deeming to be his failures, because if you want to make this yours, you got to come across me, and you're not going to succeed. But the thing is between Novin and Lips, it's like you got Novin, who is completely aggressive in the theory of just doing what it is necessary to eliminate Lips, and now it's going to happen at Redemption. But then you have Lips, who is almost just kind of like watching on and just kind of there for the ride and enjoying it in his own personal amusement. And the thing is that when I see Novin, do I see demonism? I honestly don't. I see something more in Novin.
Oh, same here. I don't
see a demon. I
don't listen. Do I say he's not a demon? No. Do I call him a demon? No. The reason why I won't say he's not a demon is because that's what he's been put across as. If you watch BEW, the demon autocrat, Novin. So I'm not going to say that, because that would be disrespectful to the hard work that the BEW production team puts into their product. Like I said, now Lips, why I said he's not a demon. Do I think he's a demon? No, neither. And the reason why is because that would be disrespectful to the people that play the characters and the people in the UW production team that try to put it across as the UWE's demon and his underground lair, which is, I guess, in a fairy tale specter, Spectrum would be his own hell, if you say so. I wouldn't think either one of them are demons. Novin is not, by no means to me, and this is me talking as Cameron Jackson, the man, not CJE, the performer. Novin to me is not anything less than a demon, but he's much more than. I don't think he's the devil. I don't think he has anything to do with the third world at all. I think he's a piece of everybody. I personally think he's a piece of everybody's inner mind, inner emotion. Same as Lips, believe it or not. I think he's a piece of everybody. Uh, Now, with Novin's the anger seductive piece. Lips is the sensual seductive piece. The thing here is Novin's one of those guys to trigger your sadness, trigger your anger, try to trigger your fear. Lips is so focused on triggering your happiness that he does trigger your fear. And the fact that Lips is always trying to go for the erotic and the sensual relief is what makes people and turns people away when they stand across the ring from him. It makes them not want to be involved because they don't want to give him what he wants, just like with Novin. But with, can you close up, please, when you finish? With Novin, the thing.
Let's go inside.
With Novin is he focuses so much on trying to trigger your anger, is that when he finally gets it, he got you right where he wants you. And he wants you, Novin wants you to bring out the best fight in you because he knows that the one person that you can never defeat in this world is your own worst enemy. And what's your own worst enemy? Yourself. So once he makes you find that dark place inside your mind that there's no turning back, it's finally leashed out, he knows that you get the better of yourself and you catch yourself literally with your last rites landing on the top of your head. With Lips, he tries to focus on getting you to the point of relief. And not the relief that everybody knows, that sigh relief. No, he tries to get you to that climax point of relief. And when you deny it so much, he knows you're not in the fight. He knows that he's already in your head. You're not in the fight. And with Lips, the only thing that differs from the two is that with Novin's style, he will win. With Lips' style, sometimes it backfires. And the only problem with it backfiring is that the backfire is the biggest payoff for Lips. The win is the biggest payoff for Novin. And now with this scenario, Novin has unleashed his own anger. Novin's in his own head. Lips cannot release that from Novin. Novin is so angry that Lips can't get to that climax point of happiness with Novin. So now you have a point where both of these guys are cornered in their own trap. Lips can't get Novin to that sexual point to where he wants to turn away. Novin can't get Lips to that angry point to where he wants to fight. So now you have Lucius versus the inside of Nevon. You don't have Lips versus Novin. You have Lucius Smith versus the inside of Nevon. And that's the best story you can tell because now they're both out of their element. Even though they're going to play their games, they're both out of their element. This is truly a battle, and the war is yet to begin.
Absolutely, I couldn't have actually said that better myself. If the fans want to play the angel demon supernatural format, I look at Novin and I see a fallen angel. I see somebody that casts down judgment and execution. You will be casted down. You will suffer last rites. You will be almost kind of like like you're going to be smited by Novin. And it's almost like that fallen angel, like just something crooked from above, just casting down the judgment. And then with Lips, I do see a bit of more demonism because I look into it and demons don't have standards. They don't have any sort of regulations whatsoever, and they don't have a frontal lobe. They just do whatever gets them off, and that's what I see in Lips. I see somebody that just has no sense of right or wrong, and he's primitive, but he's also intelligent, and that's a very scary thing for most people. But Novin, I just see them perfect.
They both pride themselves. They both pride themselves on being the most mentalist mind game that they've already lost.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks that Lips plays the best mind games in backyard wrestling. Everybody thinks Novin plays the best mind games in BYW. They both have failed in that category, and the reason why is because they're not in their opponents' heads. They focus so hard on trying to be in their opponents' heads is that they don't get the minds of their opponents. They get the opponent's aggression, which is not what you want when you want to play a mind game. When somebody like such as the Undertaker plays a mind game, he gets in his opponent's head. One of the best programs ever built, the most underrated programs ever built, the Undertaker and Booker T. Undertaker.
That was just.
Undertaker was so far in Booker T's head that Booker T did not wrestle a normal match. Novin has never ever been that far into somebody's head. The reason why is because they focus too much on the mind game and not enough on what the opponent's focused on. They focus on their job and not the opponent's job. The opponent's just in there to get past and move on to the next guy.
Yeah.
What makes this fight stand out? That's where both characters have to build in that category. And I'll be the one to say it because nobody else is ever going to step up and say it. But you know what? That's what earns my name on the door in this motherfucker in backyard wrestling, is because I am not afraid to tell people, and it's not always bad news, but I'm not afraid to tell people where they lack. Just like nobody should be afraid to tell me where I lack. It's because a business helps each other. If Lips were to, for one time only, just one time only, not the program with Joe Cool be on the other end. No. But if Lips were to play his usual mind games, yet focus on the opponents focusing on the actual fight, then you have you have a scenario to where the opponent should be afraid. If Novin were to focus on his usual mind games and the fact that the opponent's going to bring the pain when he comes, then you have the perfect scenario. Now, I've seen Novin do things, I mean, which I can't say because of, pre-record.
Yeah.
On upload, I've seen Novin do things that not any normal man would do. That's why I like to refer to Novin as the last emotion. And because
watch out for Jack Thomas on that. He'll probably quote you, but watch out for Jack Thomas on that. The reason
why I refer to him as the last emotion is because everybody here has been in a scenario in their life, whether it be a fight, whether it be a wrestling match, whether it be a football game, whether it be something big in their life, whether it be an SAT, something in their life where they just think they're all down and they think that this fucking thing has stressed them out so bad that they referred to the last emotion in their body, which is pure anger, which is pure you can't even anger. I can't even say it's anger. It's an undescribable feeling. It's an indescribable feeling when you're just sitting, you're at that last point. It's like you're about to break. It's like you're about to snap. That's what Novin. That's exactly what Novin is. Novin is that one emotion that he drags it out of you, and once it comes out of you, sometimes he drags it out so much that the opponent's bringing too much fire at him. He doesn't know how to guard it, and that's where his problem is. Lips. Sometimes he focuses too much on trying to get into your head to where he pretty much hands you his ass to kick. And, it's all fun and games for him. But at the same time, I mean, you can't tell me he's not in that lair thinking of when can I actually get a big one,
That's the thing with him. It's like as much as he wants to play to his sick, twisted thrill of being on the recession of a lot of beatings, and he probably has had an interesting childhood. But the thing is that I'm sure he's probably in that layer thinking to himself, "What if I did beat Cameron Jackson at Hell's Vacancy? What if I did beat Diablo at Best in the Yard 2 and put him in the coffin? What if I did beat Insanity at Ultimate Redemption?" It's like I'm sure that is definitely inside the mind of Lucius Smith. And Novin as well, I also feel. I mean, Novin has yet to suffer defeat, but I'm sure Novin has had his own inner doubts as well. And that's what it's going to really come to a head at Ultimate Redemption. Now, going now to, I mentioned how fallen angels, like to cast judgment. Well, when I think of casting judgment, and I think of, being the higher up, I think of, 3 simple letters. And those 3 simple letters are letters that you have used recently to describe yourself. now there's a lot of people that are polarized. There's some that'll say, support, and he is what he says he is. And then there's others that say he's not. But let's hear it from, the man himself. Not so much why. Actually, no, that's fair. Why do you call yourself God now? What has changed over the past? I mean, is it a tenure? Is it,
No.
a showing of respect? Like, what is it that has made you call yourself God?
No, it's the fact that what's the first thing you say when somebody or when something big happens and you're like, and you definitely can't curse. Oh,
Oh my God.
oh my God, dear God. And to be quite honest, who's always usually to the right or left of you when you say that? Who's usually the guy when somebody needs advice in backyard wrestling? Who's usually the guy whose phone blows up between the hours of 12 noon and 4 in the morning about, can I get a theme song? Can I get this? Can I get that? Those are all of my religious followers praying that God grants them something. And usually a good God, as any God, grants on time. All the time, God is good, and God is good all the time. Now, for those that say God is CJE, they're firm believers. For those that say he's not, they're atheists. That's just the world we live in. I mean, to be quite honest, you can't write it. That's the world we live in. Now, am I the God that ascends down from the heavens? No, I'm the God that straps his shoes on and walks miles on miles from Jerusalem to deliver an ass whooping no matter which yard I land in. Am I the God that will bless everybody in my path? No, I'm the God that'll bless those who need it first. Am I the God that's going to sit here and bullshit and act as if we don't know what's going on? No. I'm the God that's going to bring the smash mouth and the straight truth 24/7. The Lord moves in mysterious ways, and Cameron Jackson has never moved in a followable pattern. It's always moved in mysterious ways. They tagline themselves, why not be one? CJE is GOB.
Well, I honestly thought that it would have been a different reason, but you do give a compelling case. And right when you message, because we've been, we've shared the same car on road trips. We've, and for the Smarks, I know they're gonna really throw in a homosexual joke, but we've slept in the same room when we had a show the day after. And I do see the phone blow up. I do see average, ordinary backyard wrestlers that will, seek your advice and almost, go to church and simply by a text message lighting up a candle, if you will. And I must say, I'm quite astonished. I almost kind of feel sinful that I'm wearing a brand new Ever Creed t-shirt. But the thing is that, and I know that I'm definitely on the top of the list of sinners, but, I just want you to know that, I don't refer to myself as the god of the underground. I refer to myself as Hades. And the reason is that this is the UWE. And UWE stands for Underground Wrestling Entertainment. And since the very first episode, when I first walked out of that shed, and I represented Angelique Stark, and then I have grown an empire. And a lot of people have depicted me out to be this dictatious tyrant. And the thing is that I thought to myself, well, since I really, since they want to put me in that place, then you know what? I will be what you have made me out to be. And that has been a story of me throughout my entire life. People will label me as one way, and I'll say, you know what, you want to see that? You want to see that side of me? Then I will give you that, and I will give you so much more. And this is what it's gotten me. It's gotten me a world heavyweight title. And the fact is that the reason why I refer to myself as Hades is because Hades is the god of the underground, but more importantly than being the god of the underground, he's the ruler. He's the one that has the highest say, and he's the one that is on top of the beneath. And right now, in the underground, which is right now, as funny as it may seem, the underground is on the highest level of backyard wrestling, and on the very top is its champion. And that is the same champion that's going to go to the main event of Ultimate Redemption and defeat Templar. That is the same champion that is going to go on to UWE LockDown tomorrow night, and that is going to walk out victorious, defeating not only Templar, but I'm also going to be defeating the King of the Mountain and God himself.
Well,
and the fact is...
Well, just to cut you off there, Hades, if you want to call yourself that, that's not a problem. This is not a polytheistic world, but in the world you live in, if you want to be that way, more power to you. You got a strap on your shoulder. Nobody can take that from you. So here's the thing. A lot of people think that since I call myself God, I'm the undefeatable, unbreakable, immovable object, irresistible force, which the irresistible force is the correct part. But by all means, if you've sat open and read the good book every once in a while, you'll find out that the beginnings of God was very, very, very much like mortal. And if you study up enough, you realize that I've only been calling myself God here for about almost 3 months now. We're still in the beginning stages. The Lord moves in mysterious ways. Sometimes I think I don't do enough reading of my own good book, and that's because I'm still writing it. The thing here is, in a fatal four-way on UWE LockDown in the main event, God has absolutely no intentions on going in there to fight people that he has no willing problem with. What problem does he have with Evercree? None. What problem does he have with Dirty Chico? Yes, I called him Dirty Chico because that's the guy. That's the guy I made. That's the guy God made. Dirty Chico. None. What problem does he have with Nevon McDonald? None. God's just there to help them get some views on the video, which is fine. That's absolutely not a problem at all. The thing here is my goal, as far as tomorrow night, is to simply watch and plot for when I get to see all three of these one-on-one. That is all my goal is. Hell, I can get slapped in the face, eliminated in 2 seconds. I'll still know what to do next time I face Evercree. I'll still know what to do next time I face Nevon McDonald. I'll still know what to do next time I face Dirty Chico, which is fine. So just know for a fact that this battle is not about who wins or loses. It's not about who stands up last. It's about who knows what's going to happen in the future. And me being the all-knowing, the heaven sent, the alpha, the omega, the CJE. Future comes a lot faster than people predicted. If that strap's still on your shoulder by then, so be it. It has nothing to do with you. But when God makes his moves in mysterious ways, I always know where I'm going to land. And one day it'll land with the vice versa. You having me on the CredeCast again with that on this shoulder. And on this shoulder, the other CJE championship, which I will be winning at Day of Destruction 2 from the young shooter Jordan Oliver, thus making me a 6-time CJE heavyweight champion of the world. And by that, there's absolutely nobody that can deny the fact, not that I'm God, but that can deny the fact that CJE is BYW.
Well, telling the future can be quite remarkable, can it? I mean, quite impressive knowing the outcome before it even happens.
I throw the dice in the air on these decisions. Who's going to win? I hand the papers to my secretary. She knows. I'm not going to ask. I'm going to show up. And if it goes in the Lord's favor, the Lord's going to take it. The way they say, how do the mortals say, may the best man win? Well, that's good. But what if it's not the best man? What if it's the best God, the awesome God, the one God, God himself? What if? I don't know. See, the problem is that ship has sailed a long time ago. The ship of predicting things and telling what's going to happen before they happen, that sailed a long time ago. Yes, the all-knowing knows what's going to happen, but the all-knowing's not going to tell you what's going to happen. The all-knowing's going to wait, show up, take his chance, and then make his move on what's going to happen. The reason why you're UWE champion at this very, very moment is because you thought that this God was going to set sail to northern pastures. You thought that it was all over for God in the UWE. And why you won the title in the first place, but that's the reason why you won the title with the timing of what you won it, which is fine. And if I was a businessman, I can't say I would have made a different decision. But I can say that the one thing you didn't know that I knew, the all-knowing always knows, is that God was going to stay. And the one thing that's going to make you more upset is that God can't die again, which means God ain't never going away.
You know, there's that one thing about God, isn't it? God has a massive ego, and that's how this all started. The two egos, the two biggest egos in backyard wrestling, but God can never accept the fact of when he made a mistake. In a dead man's hand, he made a fatal mistake, and it costed him for being a 5-time CJE champion. And as long as I am holding this title, you're not going to be anytime soon. I took advantage of an opportunity that you didn't want. And truth be told, it's something you didn't want anymore. And it's something that I did want. And now I have it. And now I am the great. I am the awesome. And I am on top of the underground. I am above what is beneath. And all of the ordinaries will realize that this is still my empire, whether I'm alone, whether I'm a self-supremacy, or whether I'm not. The fact is that nobody, not you, not Templar, not anybody, is going to take Hades off of his throne. Because just as people look at you and they see those 3 letters, they see God, and they just keep asking about you. They wonder, what could I do to be better? What could I do to be the best? That's what prayers are all about. But deep down, God doesn't really answer because they're not the best. Because the best, you're looking at them. And at Ultimate Redemption, Templar will be an example. Templar will be the ultimate stepping stone for me sitting on my throne. And then, once it's all said and done, there's a New Testament. And whether you win or lose, the CJE will be the trend of 2016. How fitting. But when it comes to being the highest of the land, when it comes to the password in life, and when it comes to the ultimate label on the ultimate stage, Templar, somebody that is figured and resembled as the most dominant superstar in all of backyard wrestling. Whether he was wearing a mask, whether he was carrying a shield and sword, or a double-barrel shotgun known as the gunslinger, it doesn't matter. And for those of you hoping, just hoping that maybe he might just come back, it's not going to happen. I'm going to be facing Templar at Ultimate Redemption. And when it's all said and done, I am going to be looked at as the god of the underground. I'm going to be looked at as Hades. And I will still be not only your World Heavyweight Champion, but now I will be selling the #1 merchandise in backyard wrestling. And this is just a sneak preview of what is to come. This right here, this isn't just a t-shirt. This is a message to anybody that defies me. And I want everybody to know the most important warning, especially before you. You are God. But God's throne is something you want to keep your eye on. Because whether you win or lose against TJ Sakara, that's an easy accomplishment. The next thing you're going to want, whether it's you or whether it's Rick Rios, you're going to want this. But you're not going to have it.
Listen. The only difference between God and gold is the letter L. And I've taken many of those in my day, man. There's not a damn thing. There's not a damn thing that anybody can tell me. There's not a damn thing anybody can put on a t-shirt to knock me out of my rightful place as the #1 trend in backyard wrestling. No matter, you've got one of these in your goddamn house. Hell, you've got 3 of them in your goddamn house. I know people that's got 4 or 5 of these. I know people that still to this day, I just go to Australia. There's people all over the world that have these. This is not a t-shirt. This is something everybody comes across in their life. This is a Bible. This is a cross. This is not a piece of merchandise. This is a code of faith. Now, do I care if people wear it? No. Do I care if people want to wear it? No. Did I have the intention of making it the #1 thing in this community? No. But did it happen? Yes. The reason why, did God have the intention of making this wonderful world with all these people, the good and the bad and the ugly? His only intention was just making the world itself and making 2 people to start. The thing is, I make platforms. I make beginnings. I don't write the end. God has no end. CJE will never find an END. But CJE will always, no matter what anybody says, whether it's you, whether it's somebody elsewhere, whether it's people that claim they can be the Almighty themselves, CJE will always be G-O-D. And there's no amen. There is no to my Father. In his name we pray. No, there is no to my Father, thou art in heaven. No. All there is a 4-finger salute, followed by a thunderous 16. And that is not a promo. That is not a speech. That is not a written piece of work. That as we all know, is the truth. Every time I hold up these 4 fingers, the person sitting across to me, next to me, or watching the video wants to do the same thing, whether they hate to see Cameron Jackson, whether they love to see Cameron Jackson. You know, you caught yourself so many times standing somewhere in public, heard somebody say 15, heard somebody say 17, and just thought to say 16.
Look.
So no matter what ruler you claim to be, what throne you claim to be on, you still idolize God.
I don't.
And I say thank you very much.
You're starting to get on my nerves a little bit. Look, I understand that your ego is starting to inflate, but the fact is that I don't have a Black Toad Splash shirt, and I honestly don't believe that you are anything you claim yourself to be. You know what? You want to know why? Because if you were God, if you really were God, you would be able to tell me right to my face that you are going to win at Ultimate Redemption because you would have seen it already. You would have been able to flicker the lights around this house. You would have been able to raise this championship. You would have been able to do anything. But the fact is that I... Is this some kind of joke? Is this some kind of joke? You think you're better than me? Huh? What the...
You are the self-supremacy. You are the UWE World Heavyweight Champion. You are every creed. You are, as of right now, on paper, the biggest thing in the UWE. You are the thing people are supposed to be in there to watch. They come to watch God, they come to church, and they get served. The problem lies with you is that you're too focused on these followers that are not yours. You're too focused on these games that you play. You're too focused on holding that gold that's in your very, very hands that you don't realize you could have been in this spot all along. Except for Puppet Master, you pulled one string too hard and messed up the whole act. So maybe one day you can learn, and maybe one day you'll reach more success than just that standing in your hand, because right there, that's not the highest prize at the moment. At the moment, that's just a piece of jewelry. Right now, the title don't matter. Hell, right now, the UWE don't matter. Right now, all that needs to matter to you is walking out of redemption with your honor, your praise, your glory at Ultimate Redemption, and hoping to the world, to the people watching, and to the wonderful abode you live in, that all is good after God arrives. So now, you can be Hades tomorrow, but for tonight, I'm going to call you Lazarus. You may serve the good deed, but there's only one God. You don't have to answer to me. Hell, you don't even have to like me. You don't even have to believe in me. But you have to know that when God swoops down, when that sweet chariot swings low, I'm coming forth to carry you home. And one of these days, Evercreed, make a remark with me or not, I'm going to take it home.
I'll see you tomorrow
To
night.
thy church of CJE, in God's name, we pray. 16.
I'll see you tomorrow night.